Back in that bag again. Whoa, yeah. Hey. Back in that, yeah. Tell them to watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets. Just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she sliding. Tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that shit doing. Damn, she took that thing off and bring it around. Going at it till I'm on. Put that 90 in a hole. I'm beating it down. I'm back in that bag again.
That's right.
Whoa.
Wow. Coming out of the gate swinging.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great. You know, every time I hear this intro song, I'm like, we should get a new one. Then I listen to it, I'm like, nah, this is our jam. Back in that bag again.
That's right.
Very exciting. Between Two Wrenches podcast has triumphantly returned.
Dun, 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 dun.
And surprisingly, nobody has paid us millions and millions of dollars to be on this program.
No.
I'm just kind of upset about that.
So where did that check go that I just wrote you guys to be on here?
We bounced it all the way out into the parking lot.
Lord, you guys
Hold on.
duped
Bang,
me.
bang,
You
bang,
duped
bang.
me. I knew it.
Keaton is our guest.
Keaton,
We're here.
the man, the myth, the legend,
conversation began before the conversation.
the shaman.
I am no one, but I am Keaton.
That was deep. It's gonna be that kind of a day. It's gonna be that kind of a day today. We've been everywhere since the last time we had a podcast.
I know, man. When was the last time, other than Milwaukee Tool one?
I don't know. TQ, can you find out
Do you
when our
rem-
last podcast?
Do you remember when we
was
were?
it like? I think it was Stashapalooza. Stash.
Oh, yeah. Was
Nick
it?
Berry.
Oh, interesting that we bring up the stash, Phil.
Speaking of stash,
Speaking of
Looks like,
stashes, if
I-
you are
is there
joining us
something
today,
different? Do you guys notice?
is it colder in here? Did somebody mess with the thermostat?
I just don't know.
Is that a baby crying in the background? I keep on hearing things.
Oh, good Lord. You're so hot. I love it. You've inspired me as well.
I know.
Mustache.
We're trend setting here.
From the podcast that was hosted by two bearded dudes is now hosted by myself and Tom Selleck.
You're looking a little Thomish today, I'll admit.
I just can't tell if it's Magnum PI Tom Selleck or when he used to do guest roles on Friends.
That's
It's one
prime
of the two.
Tom Selleck,
you get prime time in the old Hawaiian shirt, or you get
Well, and then there's like you've seen him in Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods.
That thing looks like a goddamn caterpillar.
That thing has actually never faded in its glory.
Right.
That has held strong throughout his whole career. Actually, that is his whole career, is that mustache.
The mustache.
But
Did he ever
yours-
make a mistake? Did he ever like go, you know what? I'm going to shave it off today.
Yeah,
And then his
no, he
agent
did.
called and was like, the fuck did you just do, sir? That's like Jennifer Lopez being like, I don't need both of these legs. Like, I don't. Both of these butt cheeks, are they really that important? I just had one, had a lean.
Well, it might have been a bad decision, but it was a decision.
No, it was, you know?
No.
You're
And
done.
so
Stuck
here
to
we
it.
are after 10
Better
years. A change. The winds of change.
It is.
We're blowing.
It's a Scorpion song.
So let me
love
ask you this. Is there anything that that elicited this change? Or
Well, you know, it's just been one
Was
of
there
those.
something illicit in your system?
Well, not like really.
All right, yeah, we're going to have a conversation
we're just gonna
now,
just
folks.
jump into
Did you
it.
borrow him some mushroom friends and he was like, I have a great idea?
Yeah.
Well,
No. I should have, though.
I will say that 2024 has been an interesting year from the start. And we're going to finish this bottle. Here, have a mason jar. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on.
I had to go light because somebody has to produce this podcast afterwards.
TQ?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm on it, guys.
Okay, volunteer. Get him some bourbon. I want to hear what this sounds like after.
But yeah, no, 2024 has been wild. I mean, I can't believe we're in November already. I started the year with, a pretty massive injury, just from training together.
Yep.
And personal stuff with my immediate family, my father, just some crazy stuff. And then the businesses, just like everything kind of imploded. So it's been definitely a year of rebuild.
Okay, Mike Tyson.
Speaking of that,
rebuilding this.
we're going to rebuild this.
Oh, so hopefully he doesn't watch this. He'll go and kick our ass.
Right.
Sir.
PTF.
Oh, but yeah, no, it's been maybe just needed to kick the year out with, a fresh start. So.
I like how it's not fully committed fresh. I like how you didn't go baby face.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to
We
do
were
that.
having the conversation via text when you went in to see Mr. Price, the barber
right.
of all barbers, and I was like, he's like, my face is cold, and I was like, well, maybe get one of those. What do the women wear in the Middle East when they're gonna cover it all up? Maybe you go with that. Keep your face nice and warm. But you did. You stuck with the
That's right. At least
mustachio.
my upper lip will be
The
warm.
upper lip, will definitely stay warm.
Yeah.
You're gonna have Top Gun's looking for a new pilot.
Turtleneck for your lip. Kind of deal. hanging there.
I still want to remember what it's like to get food caught in my face. Like, what is that?
You're going to be
Yeah,
that one creep
cheeseburger.
at Thanksgiving where you're just like this the whole time. Mashed potatoes and gravy. See, mine doesn't even extend that far.
Yeah,
down
you can't
there.
even get to it.
I have the mustache of a prepubescent boy still, so I'm working into it. I got this nice gap.
Sorry, TQ.
Can I ask why you're looking at me right now?
His mustache is
It's actually fuller than yours.
it is significantly fuller.
Yeah.
I have the opposite Hitler kind of
You
deal
got
going
that.
on right here. You know what I mean? I took out the middle and I went to the side.
Really wanted to be against the Hitler
I
stats,
just
so I
wanted to
just shaved out the middle.
establish where I'm at,
Right.
socially and spiritually, that I'm anti-Hitler.
What's your background? Like you look.
Serbian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Serbian,
Not
Yugoslavian.
German. Not
I
German.
have a little German in me.
I can see it.
My wife's German. She's German, as can be, yeah. But yeah,
Unska.
Serbian, the baby killers, as they referred to me as my youth. And somehow, how did they even know that in 5th grade when I was bullied?
Wow.
They're like, oh, you come from a family of baby killers. Never even knew.
I didn't even read back then.
Yeah.
How do they know all this stuff?
I just wanted to fit
Pre-internet.
in.
Yeah. Until you start coming out with like the little baby mustache comb, like you have to bust it out of your back pocket. And you
Oh
sit
yeah,
there
yeah.
and really.
Well, do you got any mustache wax yet, Captain Coops?
I actually last night after you sent me that glorious photo, I was like, well, I guess we got to expand the product line.
That's right.
Right?
The mustache
We'll
wax.
get this thing. We can get
Oh, you
these-
go all Raleigh fingers. You could do.
I can do that. I can grow them thick on the edge, and I can get a nice.
You can
nice
go
curve.
real thick.
How long are you going to go with yours for?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
Right now, I'm just gonna
I mean,
kind
is
of
this
wing
the one
things.
and done, or are you going to actually shave up the bottom for a few weeks and just kind
No,
of?
I think I might-
You're
I
gonna
will-
let the mustache ride.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing
handlebar.
about this is like then I can kind of play with the rest of the facial hair.
Yeah,
I don't have anything up top. We'll see what happens there too.
it's because it's all on the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it was.
Right.
I will
They're
tell
gone.
you this though: you could rock a mean handlebar. I mean, you could have like what is that motorcycle show? The
Oh, Paul.
Orange County Choppers.
Yeah, Paul.
OCC.
Yep.
Paul Senior.
Yeah, you are on the verge of that right now.
Could do it.
Do you think
I
this
did
is like
have it once.
this is the start? Not a midlife crisis, because that sounds really extreme.
I think that's
But
exactly what.
okay,
this
good.
is.
I wanted to be gentle with it, but you
Jesus,
start just
Cooper
leaning
went
into
right
that.
into it.
I'll lean into
Like
it.
for a while, it was like beards and jeeps, and then it's like handlebar mustache. All of a sudden, you're gonna hear roaring pipes coming down the driveway, and you're
Ape hangers.
just wearing
I thought
all
you didn't
leather.
like motorcycles. I do now.
gonna
Right.
have
Yeah.
assless
I thought
chaps.
you said they were too not safe. Yeah, I did.
I feel like living a little more dangerously.
I'm not safe
I,
anymore.
mean, I know a guy who makes chaps, so if you need a pair of
The safe me died when the beard died.
something wrong with the world today. Don't know what it is.
Oh man. So Keaton, I mean, you have a pretty. We should probably like talk a little bit about you.
Sure.
You're wearing a mushroom shirt.
Oh yeah, I am.
It's not a mushroom
surely
shirt.
not.
It's a mushroom shirt. You got a devil horn that shit right there.
Yeah.
Mushroom shirt.
Well, so you and I knew each other years ago, 20
Yes.
years ago.
High school.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago.
Mr. McGinnis's class, keyboarding applications, and we didn't do a fucking thing.
No.
I know.
Ever in
I've seen him type. I haven't done a fucking.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, type this for me.
Send an email for me.
Yeah, and then we lost touch. But I remember one of the stories from way back when. I might have told you. I don't know if you remember, but a buddy of ours, an acquaintance of ours, Josh Rose, and we were down. Your mom she was living down on a farm in Cleghorn.
Oh yeah, with Bill Van Vliet, double V Ranch back
Double-
then.
yeah.
Double V.
And I remember going out there just to like hang out and get drug around on a sled behind a 4-wheeler.
A 3-wheeler.
Or
It was a 3-wheeler. Yeah.
I don't know, like those memories are so foggy in my brain.
Yeah.
But I went there with Josh and it was like, oh yeah, I was hanging out with my buddy Keaton, and I was like, I don't really know this guy, but like I know of him. And next thing you know, we're like, yeah,
Let's die together.
Right? Yeah, through the fucking cattle pen on a
Yep.
3-wheeler.
Indoor arena banging against the side of the tin. Yeah.
I remember that was a good time. Yeah, and then we separated ways until we ran into you at Verizon.
Yeah, it was like 2013, 14. I think I helped your dad Actually, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I got him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Am I still
Oh,
heard?
that's right. I get it.
Okay.
Well, no, we found his network.
Oh. I'm like, geez, am I too far away from
No,
the
no,
mic? You're throwing me
was
off
Verizon
here.
No,
Wireless
that was
joke.
the Verizon Wireless back then. Remember when you worked there?
That was Prime. Can
I've
you hear
had
me
to
now?
bury some of my past, and Verizon was it.
Fucking
so
guy
I don't
with the
remember a
glasses.
thing about it, damn it. Yeah, we had met your dad then, and I came back in, and we kind of reconnected, and I was helping out a little bit. Like this was Max-Bilt's very beginning then,
Yeah.
really in here. And then, oh man, I had a past, and I was still struggling in life, still struggling with dependency on opiates and pain pills and heroin even at that time. And so like, it was an interesting rekindling, but we separated ways again, which
Yep.
was just a beautiful part about our relationship throughout all these years was, in the time where I wasn't healthy or conducive for a healthy friendship, I was like kind of like removed, but by that unseen hand. There wasn't anybody who removed me. You and I didn't have a fight or a
Yeah,
battle.
no.
We just kind of went our ways. And then a couple years back, Jiu-Jitsu came around and we rekindled, and it's been like just two peas in a pod since.
Yep.
And I think it's the biggest part of this is that we're both finding ourselves on this healing journey in our mid to late 30s, and which
Yeah,
is
world just looks different than we expected it would.
Yep. And we all go through these psychological changes at certain periods of our lives, and we're just put into the company that we need to be around. And so it's but it's amazing though that you're never further away from the people who are your family or who are important. They're always there. And you're never that far away from it. And so it's super mysterious in how the world works and how small it really is. And yeah, we've been able to rekindle our friendship, and I got to meet Coop and come down here and just hang out at the shop and BS with you guys. And so
Yeah. Well, and on that note too, you guys have a little bit of a business dealing kind of working too, don't you?
yeah,
Dealings.
yeah.
Shady. Let's hear about your shady dealings.
This is not for sale of illicit mushrooms here.
No, I believe this is on the up and up.
Oh, this is okay. It's my
top-
other
top
business.
shelf.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I, mean,
What?
I wasn't going to talk about that, but since you brought it up,
Yeah, we're Coop's getting his thing started up, and I'm in the process of taking some of my gourmet mushrooms and getting them extracted and be able to give the old Coop man some of my beautiful product. And I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I do appreciate the support and the platform in that aspect too. So
Yeah, well, I think it's when you have it, and this is something I think that Phil has kind of passed down to me. It's like when you have an opportunity to do something, because whether you're driven or you're stupid, sometimes
they're one and the same.
It's one and the same thing.
Both, yeah.
But you have an opportunity to learn things. Like I've learned things from Phil about like business. Most of them have been good. Luckily, we've learned some of the bad things, and somebody else taught us how to recorrect this. Thanks, Becca. That was a shout out to you.
Oh, yeah.
Numbers. I don't even like spreadsheets. Fuck that shit. But no, when you're able to have a platform to help somebody else out, and we opened up Captain Coop Store. It's a business I've had since 2019. It's just evolved over that course, and it's been cool for me to when you first started talking about having, doing product and, bottling tinctures of mushrooms, like lion's mane and cordyceps.
Well, yeah, we'll get into
things like that.
We're unpacking a lot right now,
Yeah.
so we'll dive into more
Yeah.
of that. But then also, I just opened a brick and mortar. We're gonna dive back into that too. So just keep going.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I should be drinking bourbon. But no, to be able to, Keaton talking about him wanting to pursue this in a business aspect, was cool for me to kind of not walk him through the process, because it's different product, but I put things in bottles and I put labels on them
Right.
and I sell them. But to be watch you go through your journey and your evolution, with the mushroom business, and not be pressuring you to hey dude, my store is open up, I need your shit. Just be like, hey man, where are you at? Do you need anything? Is there any can I give you my 2 cents? Or, but knowing that you're, on the path to having your stuff ready to go, and us being able to be the place where we can promote it and have you in there and have you do talks about it. And we've done that with some other of our friends too, that have ideas that they're like, I think I can do this. And I'm like, well, some moron told me once that I could make beard oil or beard products. And I was like, oh, sure. And here we are 5 years later.
Yeah.
So to be kind of a part of the circular process of it all is super cool. And I'm
Well,
super excited.
they say
and I want some for myself.
a rising tide swamps all canoes or something like that. So as long as we all work together, somebody will.
We're all gonna fucking drown together. All right? Guess one of us is going down the every canoe's
There's
going
only one thing for certain: that we're not going to be here forever.
I gotta tell
Under
you,
the wave.
I smile as you're talking like that because for myself, I struggle with being, I guess we'll call it lethargy for lack of better terms, is that I'm very slow moving in my processes. It's almost like I'm just never in a hurry, and I've seen opportunity go by, but I have a big smile on my face when you talk because I'm surrounded by the best. My best friend is an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. Everybody here is an entrepreneur. You guys understand the business workings and things. And I have you in my corner to support me, to drive me, to inspire me. And it's some of those things.
Tell you to fucking hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, dude, I know.
There's
You're doing
a
a great
pedal.
job without being the dad that I never had. So I do appreciate it. Yeah, it's all a process, but you guys being there always in the back of my mind is what has driven me to continue the process and to not give up or to stop like I have so many times in the past. The mushrooms have always been the way for me. They've always been the way. They told me this, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and it's just, getting in my own way and having to work through my own lethargy, laziness.
But I think it's important to have those people too, because I went through the same thing, and maybe you did as well, Phil. In the process of starting a business, I'm still trying to figure it out. But in the process of going through starting a business or coming up with having an idea, having a passion, having something that you're drawn to, you have like this unforeseen expectation. You start listening to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and you start, having all these like really super high expectations. And when those things don't happen for whatever reason, whether it's monetarily, whether it's like for me, I started Captain Coops in late 2019. Felt really good about where I was at in early 2020. And then the door slammed in, like Marchish. So I was actually at a point several years back that I was prepared to just be like, invested some money, started a thing, but I'm cool just like letting it, selling the product that we have, not really investing much time and money and effort into keeping it going. Somebody came into my life, Nicole, and was like, this is a great, like the concept is great. Like the idea is great. The branding's great. Like, why don't you want to do this? I was
And you're great.
and I'm pretty fantastic. And I didn't have to pay her to believe in that.
But you were the last thing that was great out of all that, right?
Right. Yeah. So definitely made the list. But there was a moment where I was, again, ready to completely give it up. Didn't have the passion for it anymore. And she just, with just a couple of words like, hey, I think we could do something really cool with this, was like, yeah, maybe you're right. Like maybe this idea, this concept or dream that I had at one point can continue and grow and be something that I've always wanted it to be. But you need those people around you that are like, hey, like
Your support.
it's all right. Like, we'll figure it out. Like where there's a will, there's a way. And, it takes a village and all those cliched words.
Well, so just let back up, because since our last podcast, you have opened your brick and mortar, but I feel like you maybe could do a little shout out, a little time to shine for Captain Coop. Where is it? What's it all about? What are you selling there? What do you got going on?
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
That was another one of those weird things where you sit down and you're like, we could do this. We should open like the next logical step for us. We were an e-commerce store. We could, like the next thing for us is to open a store. And it really came down to, until the right thing, option, place, location basically lands at our front door.
Well, because before we were working together, but even
we were working together for almost 5 years now.
Yeah, no, but even before that, not before that, but early in our relationship, you were down in that big space.
I brought you down. Yeah. So I was looking at a ginormous,
I know, thinking back
space,
now, it's like
9,800 square feet, something. That's just the number that rings in my head. It used to be like a CrossFit
shoe factory. Oh.
The tire
It's
factory.
Chippewa, so probably at one point they were making shoes there. Shoes or beer, one of the two things. But it was a CrossFit gym. It was a giant space. And again, this is part of that big dreams, big aspirations. We're bringing production in here. We're starting an apparel line. It's all going to be great. And people are going to do the podcast from here. So that was like the original space. And that was like literally had the pen almost down on the paper to sign a lease that in hindsight, somebody, maybe that magical hand that pulled you into the directions you needed to go was like, bah. And I think I held off on signing it for like a couple of weeks. And that's when like COVID shut everything down.
Yeah.
Can I ask why you didn't sign? You were right there.
Divine intervention.
Yeah,
It was
I want to know about
I'm
that
not,
hidden hand, my friend.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but there was a hesitation. There was a pause. There was also a lot of zeros after how much a month it was going to cost to lease that place. And at that point, and again, this is about like when you find people that put numbers into perspective about business, and you're like, oh, it's just this, and you're like, well, it's this, and there's also we got to get the power on. You probably want to have garbage service. You probably need internet in here. You probably need to buy like $100,000 worth of machinery to be able to things.
You need a 6-month loan for your wages and employees in the beginning.
I wasn't going to pay myself. I'm going to work for free until I make my millions. But there definitely was like a fear of making that big jump. And then it turns out a couple of weeks later, we were already in like several different salons and barbershops. We were growing that network of wholesale. And it was just a moment where you're like, we're going to do this. You came down and looked at the space and we were measuring things out and like, you're like, oh boy, I can move my fucking auto shop.
I'm no one to shit on anybody's dreams, though.
Bulk containers?
Yeah, how much beer are you
You're going to have
selling?
live music down here every
beer oil
Friday?
for small
You selling
countries?
beer too? 55-gallon drums of beard oil for your lifetime supply.
We can wax up the whole UK with this.
Oh man, bam. But no, it evolved and it came down to like the place needed to find us. And eventually it did, just through years of contacts that I had in radio. Somebody was like, hey, I'm starting this new project in this new location, with the Wisconsin Farmers Union. And I think it'd be ideal for what you're trying to do. And for us, it was like, we don't have enough individual product of our own to be able to
Support a full
support a
store.
space that big. So that's when we started networking, talking to guys like Keaton and people that we've met in our travels. And, Nicole travels to Thailand and there's some super cool things that she brought back from there. So it really became like it's our things, but it's other artists, it's other entrepreneurs, it's things from around the globe. It's like weird shit you can't find anywhere else. We've titled it kind of the eclectic boutique because you have, if you want to come in and get your beard stuff or your CBD or your gummies,
All kinds of pirate treasure.
Yeah. Pirate, just,
All kinds of booty.
there's a lot of booty. A lot
How
of
did
booty,
that
booty,
Oh, yeah.
rocking everywhere.
Booty.
And it's nice to be able to, and we're super fluid with like what comes in and what comes out. Like when Keaton stuff is ready, like we have a space for that.
Sam, I need help, Sam.
When Keaton stuff is ready,
Sam,
we
hurry
have a
up.
space for that. When, we're talking to some other people that do things, animal products, Jamie Kane,
Yep.
and we're like, this probably makes more sense in the spring. And then we have a lady that does wool products that would probably not make much sense in the spring. So we're very
Lanolin.
able to kind of move in and out of our products. But super excited. Market on River, 128 West River Street, Chippewa Falls. Stop in.
And then follow you on socials.
Yeah, at Captain Coop's Trading Co.
CO.
That'd be great. Thank you. Shameless.
That was good.
No.
I love it.
Well, so what are you... see, I'm just going to... Now I feel like I'm in charge. So over to you there, Keaton.
Yes, sir.
So what are the basis of your fruits? What are you extracting? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's driving you?
Well, I'll start with that last question. What's driving me? I don't know.
Fair.
I would even go as
Guilty.
far as say is the mushroom itself is driving me. So I work right now with my main type of mushroom that I work with is Cordyceps militaris, and it's a parasitic fungi. And what it does is it parasitizes pupae and larvae, and then takes over, grows from the ground, releases its spores, its ascospores, and then
Which is a gnarly... It's like a gnarly mushroom.
it
It is
literally-
not a mushroom like you would
What
ever...
do you think of when you think
Yeah.
like
it
that?
Can
It's
you
not
throw?
like this,
can you
yeah.
do that? Do you know how to do that, TQ?
Cordyceps militaris.
Can you look up cordyceps and then like put it into the screen so people know what it looks like?
I can look them up. I probably can't put it on.
You're
the
not
screen,
quite there
We'll
yet.
do that in post-production.
Post-production
We'll make it
next
look
time.
like
All
we know
right.
what we're doing.
Well, get on that.
All right, next time.
Anyways, but they're
so
really
It's
cool.
a parasitic fungi, and
Here, let me see if I can find it.
yeah, it's in there. Bookmark.
Look,
right
it's
here.
bookmarked.
Continue.
This man is
And,
more prepared.
And sometimes I wonder if the
They don't
mushroom
look anything
itself
like that. Those
has.
look like penises.
Do you know how many mushrooms do look like penises?
Most of them.
Because the mushroom is it's a phallic symbol. It's a phallic symbol, the mushroom is. And mushroom cults that have predated modern times have always used the mushroom cult as a phallic symbol. Because if you look at many mushrooms, they look like dicks.
Penises.
Is that why you close the book so fast? You're like,
There's a lot of
seen
dicks
enough.
And actually, they have a mushroom out there called the hairy penis.
Is that P-A-N?
It's P-A-N.
Okay,
I don't know. Actually, you have to fact check that one, but it's not penis. It's penis. It's like
So
you
it's
got
a
like a
southern-
little, you got like a little
got a little
accent, mate.
penis.
Penis.
What's your southern
Hairy
penis?
It's a very hairy penis.
So I mean, I would go and say is I think the mushroom itself is driving me. I think that the fungal family is actually one of the least known and least. I don't know if it's the least studied, but it's the least known of the family of like the animal family, your plant kingdom, your fungal kingdom. The fungal kingdom is the largest out of all the kingdoms, and it's the least known about. So we're experiencing kind of like a mushroom renaissance. I'm a firm believer under the philosophy that we don't necessarily discover things, we rediscover things. And so I think right now with this big change in modern medicine and where we're at is that we're understanding that our relationship with nature is extremely beneficial for our physical, mental, and spiritual health, and mushrooms play a huge role in that.
They're kind of like the tie that binds.
Yeah. Or like, so the mycelium looks like fine white webbing, and underneath the ground that we walk on, mycelium connects everything. So the world is connected through the mushroom network. It's like the neural network in a brain almost.
And it looks like it too.
Literally looks like a physical manifestation of a neural network in real time. It's fascinating. The geometry.
It blows my mind because it's like, not to interrupt you, but I'm gonna anyways.
Please do.
But like I feel like we are like supercomputers when you think of all the technology that like takes us. But we look at the earth and we're just like, oh, it's a place with like some dirt
Rock,
and some trees,
wood,
right?
yeah.
Like moving around, but like it's this like insane supercomputer in its own right that is constantly repairing, fixing, picking up the slack for us lazy.
And everything talks to each other. I mean, I've seen documentaries where it's like if there's a tree that's lacking nutrients in a forest somewhere, the mushrooms, through all that connective network will be like, we'll take less nutrients from the soil, and so that this tree or this fern or whatever's next to it can flourish, and it will like push the nutrients that direction. I mean, that's learning
nuts.
this. You're like,
it's incredible.
Wait, you mean that's not just a tree? I don't. He's got friends and shit. Like stupid human stuff.
Well, that's the thing is, as a human, we can only perceive the world as a human. And so when we think of intelligence, we can only see intelligence as being a human-esque trait or a human characteristic, but it's not. The planet we live on is intelligent. The universe we live in is intelligent. Everything is intelligent. It's connected. It communicates. It reproduces. It repairs. But the thing is I think the biggest thing with humans is that if you can't physically change your environment, then you're not intelligent. And because nature doesn't need to do that, because nature is the environment, we don't see it and respect it as being the intelligent entity that it really is. And that's the mushroom. And the mushrooms have, for me, and this is my area of non-expertise, but just personal experience, is what got me started with all this is I've had an issue in my past with substance abuse and opiates and things, but I'm also a veteran. I deployed in 2009, so I battled with PTSD and other things like that. And what I realized was nature has a cure for everything. And it just so happened to be for me, in order to start understanding why I was even using these substances, numbing my pain, running away, trying to literally kill myself through drugs, is that I was disconnected. I was disconnected from many things. And it's funny because symbolically speaking, thank you. Symbolically speaking, as we were talking about, the mycelium is beneath our feet and it connects everything. Well, it was a psychedelic mushroom experience which initiated this whole love and passion for mushrooms years ago. And I had felt this connection of oneness with the world, with the people in my world, with everything. And so it's no, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's, the mushroom itself is symbolic for this interconnectedness. And the mushroom experience, the psychedelic mushroom experience, which I don't recommend for anybody at home.
Slow wink.
But there's many factors that play there, and we can talk about it if you want. But it was an eye-opening experience. It was the first time I felt loved. I had a pretty traumatic childhood growing up. I didn't have any dads that were in my life. I had a mom who, God bless her soul, did the best she could. But she also, she wasn't a good person. I mean, that's okay. I'm not here to judge her for that. I've forgiven her for that. But I had all these traumas. And so the first time I actually felt like true love was on a psychedelic mushroom experience. And it was like this big, warm feeling came and hugged me. And like it squeezed me a little bit and I couldn't catch my breath. And then finally, as I exhaled, it's like, you are loved. You no longer have to experience life as the pain and suffering that you are, and you can experience it with the love that you are. And man, I broke down in tears. I was with my wife, and it's ever since that moment, it has changed my whole perspective on everything. I understood. I look at addiction differently than most people, and that's okay. I have my own qualms with the people who run conventional rehabilitation facilities. But I can tell you that the mushroom experience is what helped me start dissecting the reason why I was running from these demons, this pain, from this trauma that I had, and it literally gave me my life back. And I think that's partially, if not mostly, the reason why I'm here doing the mushroom thing is because the mushrooms gave me my life. So now they're demanding that I give them life. It's kind of like this quid pro quo kind of bullshit I got going on with them.
So demanding.
But I will tell you though, I do fully believe that. I do believe to an extent that the mushroom essentially has parasitized me, and I'm doing its bidding. I'm doing the bidding of the mushroom or of nature, however you want to look at it. I mean, we've already established that nature's intelligent, so how do we know that they're not? But it's me and my egocentric human self. I'm the greatest and smartest. But I do wonder though if there are, and if you ask any of the individuals in the mycology community, why we do the work that we do, and it's as if as the mushroom is looking for a way to be brought to humans to help humans heal. And that's why we have this mushroom renaissance happening right now, where we're just finding out that there's immense benefits, neural benefits, anti-cancer, anti-tumor promising benefits, anti-inflammatory, just whatever you can name. There's just a plethora endless of the benefits of all these different mushrooms. And I decided more recently in my quest of exploration that Cordyceps militaris was going to be what I'm going to do. And that's, it's a relatively newer fungus to be brought to market or to presence here in America. The Chinese and the Asian countries have been dabbling with Cordyceps for a while now. The West is just catching up to it because we have a pharmaceutical issue, as many of you guys may know.
I've heard of that. Big
pharma,
pun?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big pun?
Now everything's going to get...
You know, the thing
down.
that you see on every other commercial, if you ever watch TV, or
I always love the
side
second
effect.
half of those commercials where they give you all the shit that can go wrong.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this could cure your male pattern baldness. Also, may cause death. Your
Yeah,
hair
it
is
is.
going to look great, but you're going to be dead.
A 90-second commercial and 72 seconds are
The side
adverse
effects.
effects and side effects.
Yeah. What?
It's strange times though, because there's so many different things out there in the earth that have gone through this process, where things are so demonized by media, by politicians, by the public. I think of like the when margarine became a thing, because everybody said butter is so bad for you. You could buy and then
Butter,
and
but I
then-
love butter.
Butter is not bad.
Butter
for
is
you.
not bad for you.
Yeah.
That was a lie.
Margarine is
Bold-faced
horrible
lie.
for you. You know, the whole sugar complex
plastic.
where it was like, sugar's fine. You got to worry about your fats. And that was that battle.
Yeah,
Well,
don't blame salt for what sugar did to you.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
And it turns out it was just a ploy to get the sugarcane industry back on its feet, and then obviously thriving and put in everything that you eat. But mushrooms and all sorts of other things.
I hate
Can't
it. It's inflaming my body as we speak.
But I could use some gummy candy if anybody wants to stop by the
Sweet
studio.
tarts? Sweet tarts?
But when it comes to like illicit drugs or things that we were taught as kids, like just how
Hard
horrible
drugs, right.
things these things are. LSD and mushrooms, and then they showed you like the Manson family was, they're all on psychedelics and
Literally
and
a CIA
I was gonna
operative
say
right
also,
there that
and-
they did that. They created that whole situation.
Right? Yeah.
But when
whoops.
you grow up and those things are just told you repeatedly, you have this second nature to be fearful of them. You're
Yeah.
like,
It's
oh
a
my
stigma.
gosh, like this is just
You're-
like
yeah.
we can't do
Do
that.
you
Like,
guys, I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you guys not remember when the DARE program in 5th grade, they're like, you got to be careful. People are going to start handing you drugs and you can't. I'm still waiting to meet
that
that
shit hasn't
motherfucker.
happened.
I haven't gotten a free drug since
They do that same fucking thing every Halloween. They're like, you got to check your kids' candy because
For razor
somebody could be.
blades.
No, it's not even razor blades. Somebody could be. They could be giving your kids gummy.
Fentanyl.
No, they're talking about like gummy weed gummies and like CBD stuff, and I'm like, ain't
Well,
nobody getting rid of that
I've,
shit.
I've never met a crackhead that gave out free crack, right? I never have.
Hang on, do you want some of my personal stash? I'm
Sure.
like, no. Also, I will double check your candy.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they were right. Here you go,
Mine.
kid.
Kids.
Also, where were these?
Also,
found?
actually, I'm going to need half of that candy too once I get done with these gummies.
Do you have any chips? I like chips.
Yeah.
No, I agree. You're absolutely right. And the crazy part about this is psychedelic substances have been used for millennia for spiritual traditions, for initiations, religious initiations. They allow you to access, in my experience, a realm, not a realm that we perceive physically, but a realm that is a realm or a dimension of our mind. It's a psychical realm. And so because our minds, our ego consciousness only allow us to perceive this world, this physical world that we live into, there's a whole part of our consciousness that has been neglected and that these substances have been able to do. They allow you to open up more of your mind of however you want to perceive it and allow you to experience a different dimensional reality than everyday waking consciousness. And so they've been in a huge part of civilizations and religious mysteries of the past, and it's like this modern Western world we live in has just sought to demonize every type of substance that allows you to explore and expand your consciousness, and I believe that is an imperative issue that is wrong with the West right now, and we're getting there. It's just a shame that it's taking so
many
long to get there.
roadblocks.
Yeah.
And so many people, like I'm a veteran, and so many veterans have died, suicide or substance abuse, alcoholism, whatever it may be, because they don't have access to the proper mental health procedures, or however you want to look at it.
Right.
And psychedelics.
Well, there's a lot of
finding-
masking that goes on, anyways.
Yeah.
So they say, well, don't mask it with alcohol or drugs, but like, hey, let's give you some anti-anxiety meds and just kind of like numb that so that you can
Take the edge off.
like what edge? Like that's what we were doing. But if the root cause is it needs to just be focused on and sat with, Tonga meditation, where you just sit with
any
your feelings.
any meditation, really,
Mindfulness, really, yeah. Just observe what's going on. Like, hey, it's going to be scary. It's not going to be easy.
What about the shit that Aaron Rodgers went through? Like, what's that? Because he's still an asshole. I figured he'd go on a couple ayahuasca trips and you'd come out and just be like,
did he ever do that? He did do the ayahuasca.
Yeah.
didn't he? I think because
The
I know he
dark-
did
the
the
darkness.
dark retreat. Yeah.
And that was like ayahuasca in the dark. And I'm like, if you
Well,
go
that-
through that experience, shouldn't you be like, come out and be like,
No.
not an asshole?
No, I will tell you this.
It all
You're still-
depends on the mindset that you go into it.
Well-
It's spiritual narcissism, and that's the crazy. So the crazy thing about all this is that I've learned on my many psychedelic adventures that I've been on is that you almost have this sense of power, like all. When you go into these experiences, you're given a wider range of perspective, a wider range of awareness, and so you understand things at a insanely deeper level. And then you come back to reality, and you're like, I know everything. You almost have like a God complex. And what happens is that people who are naturally narcissistic, psychedelics aren't going to drop or help them at all. They'll still remain narcissists. And the other thing is people who generally weren't narcissists but displayed maybe narcissistic behavior, they'll come out of an experience and they'll be like, I know everything. This is what's all wrong in your life and everything.
Right.
I saw it in this. And you're like, hold on, bro. Like,
Keep your eye on your own bobber.
yeah, exactly. And
Stop
so
staring at my bobber.
it's something that I've gone through myself. I myself have done that. But as I went through this period of my life, it literally was, I got rid of my cell phone. The only cell phone in our family was my wife for 2 years. And I
remember that.
I didn't read any books. I didn't do anything. I wanted as little outside external force to form my experiences as I went under with these psychedelics. And I'm so glad that I took that approach. And I came out of, every trip said I have this new understanding, this more awareness, and that I felt elevated. But because I had isolated myself from the rest of my community and people, I didn't infect others with my spiritual narcissism.
Well, yeah, and I think that it's completely natural to do it when you start to see, like, have that eye-opening experience. But at the same time, when you cut out the noise and you've got nobody to talk to, but you also have less time or less opportunities to be able to take their experiences and relate them to what was actually your lesson.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, and I think that sometimes comes just from teaching, right? In sharing, it bolsters your own, understanding of self.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, right now you need to be not worrying about anybody else until you, and then once I feel like, and we're never good, but like once you become at peace with who you are, you care less about having to fix somebody else, and you can rather just be there to support that person instead of seeing them with what they're struggling and be like, I know because you do this, I just went through that and this, that. The more like sound you become, the better of a sport you can, and the less advice you're giving.
Well, and in that regard, what you realize is that you actually can't fix or heal anybody.
Right.
Like, you can't. You cannot do that. You can only heal yourself and change yourself.
Right.
But the thing is and I think part of it is just that you feel really good. It's like you climb up to the mountaintop and you get to see the wide, vast view.
Right.
And you're like, hey, guys, it's amazing up here. Look at it. It's just the sun shining, and you're looking down at everyone who hasn't made it. And so I think that appears to be that it's also just like a joyful feeling of being released from the darkness that you were in for so long, or whatever have you. And all you want to do is be like, come hither, kids. Look at the sight up here. And it's this beautiful.
But you don't know what their lens looks like. You only know what your lens is.
Exactly. 100%. And that's the biggest process of all this. And, everything is a cycle of learning, and you always come to revisit the things in the past that you thought you even had a good grasp on.
And there's no stopping it.
No, it's not.
Like, just like seasons, just like anything else, everything comes and goes.
Yep. And a different level of perspective. And actually, funny thing, side note on that, what they say is, growth is a spiral. So you're either growing or you're even descending. That's growth as well. It looks, if you look down at it, it looks like you're repeating the cycle. But if you look at a different view, you're actually either descending or ascending.
Right. And typically you're ascending.
Yeah. Even descending though. I mean, we can't look at descending as being something ultimately negative. We also have to look at that as potentially being the catalyst that propels us forward or upward. So for
there's no good, there's no bad.
It's only how you label it for that matter.
Right.
We'll use my example as the heroin. I did pain pills when I got home from deployment in 2010. Then pain pills were no longer existent, so I had to feed the addiction. So heroin came into play, and
I feel like that's a little bit of a shift.
Well, it is, but it's when you're sick from not having opiates, and plus the prescriptions I was getting was literally medical grade heroin anyway. So it's like, give me that dirty.
It was a rightful.
Give me that dirty street shit. All right, I really want to feel what this shit's like.
I just want to feel.
But what I realized though is that ultimately, if you look at my life, it was an extremely negative experience. I was put on a hospital bed 3 different times, pronounced dead from overdoses. But ultimately, that right there
You needed
gave
that.
me my life. It
Right.
gave me everything that I have today. And if it weren't for those experiences, I wouldn't be who I am today. So how do we label that?
It's not fair to do.
Agreed.
And, well, not that, like, fair is also subjective, but at the same time, like, on a simpler way to think about that, you know, like if you're going through your own emotions, right, and you're happy, everybody around you celebrates that, and like, what can we do to make you more in that space? When you're sad, now true friends, or those that might have reached the mountain and realized that that's for their eyes only, and they know how to support. But like most friends, when you're sad, they'll be like, "Well, cheer up. Like, don't be sad anymore."
It could be a whole lot worse.
Right? Yeah. And it's like,
Could
fuck.
be that guy. It's
Yeah.
fine. You don't want to be that guy.
When in reality, like we've been there together, sitting on the mats, and it's like, "Hey, man, let's just feel shitty for a while."
Yeah.
Because it, like, happy, sad, frustrated, like, it's all just shit. But if you start making them right or wrong, then that goes into your internal conflict of what type of person am I, or am I becoming, or if I sit in this feeling, then I'm a piece of shit, and then it just starts this negative cycle. When in reality, it's like, if you just accept the feelings, see them, and leave them.
How about this? So
Non-attachment.
When you said beautiful, it's a beautiful Tao Te Ching right there. Lao Tzu, you practice non-attachment. So look at that. So what you said there is that we look at these emotions or these things as being, sadness as being like a right or a wrong. Well, what does that do? Is that if it's something is undesirable or we label it as wrong, what we do is we create an enemy.
Yeah.
And when we have an enemy, what does the enemy mean? It means that we're always in conflict or at war with something. So if we're always in conflict and at war with our emotions, we're always going to be at conflict, at war with ourselves.
Exactly.
And
It bolsters the wrong. It bolsters the wrong ideology.
So, and that's where I think, to bring this full circle from just little tidbits earlier, is that's where I think our modern pharmaceutical issue has a problem, especially when it comes to SSRIs and things of the psychiatric mindset, is that we've labeled all these things as problems that need to be fixed, when really they're not a problem that needs to be fixed. They're a state of being that needs to be understood.
Yep.
And so what the pharmaceutical, what the whole shitty part about that whole system that I've had to break free from, let me tell you, is the most brutal prison I've ever been in, is that I lost my train of thought. It completely incapacitates feeling. And that's what it is to be human, is to feel.
Well, because could you imagine, and like, this is going to sound dark, but whatever.
Choo choo. We're already on the fucking train.
Yeah.
But like, think about it. So what if you were you were depressed and you were feeling, and you were in your feelings, and someplace like that's the scariest place to be. Like, in Return of the Jedi, right? Remember when Luke goes into the cave and Yoda's like, and he goes, "What's in there?" And he's like, "Only what you bring in there." And he goes to put his weapons belt on, and Yoda's like, "You don't need that." And he's like, "If it's what I'm bringing in there, I do." And he snaps
Can I
it
borrow
in there.
yours as
and then
well,
he gets
sir?
in a big old lightsaber battle with Vader. But now they're scary feelings, emotions. It's tough. Yeah. It's dark. Like it's torment. And like, sadly, people succumb to that. And there's hotlines. There's people always, call a friend if you're ever in that space.
Call me.
Absolutely.
100%. I will take a phone call at any point in time of day with anybody. That has been my life's mission, is just to be there. 100%.
And now, if you were prescribed something from somebody, like Big Pharma,
authoritative figure,
and they're like, well, if they stay in these feelings, something, they could hurt themselves. And if they hurt themselves, that's not really going to be good for business, because now all of a sudden our drug didn't work, because our drug was you were supposed to take it, and then you were supposed to get better. So they numb the feelings. They cut those neural pathways aren't there anymore.
The humanity of what it is to be human.
Exactly.
The feelings.
And and there is no right and wrong.
And why? But so let's go even further. Why do they do that? Why? So what is it? Why do we, aside from you feeling uncomfortable in those undesirable feelings, why would we have to numb someone's feelings?
Do you think that it's to be able to, because it takes a lot of work, right? And a lot of support and the right people to coach people through like emotional torment.
Yep.
So, but if we numb them, we can put them on a shelf for a minute, and then we can maybe slowly wean them off with lots of therapy. And
you're being too nice. You're being too kind.
I
I
feel like-
actually like where you're going with
like-
this.
I feel like
you
that's
gave
where-
me hope for Big Pharma's
Gentle.
mission.
I think that might have been where things started, and then
With anything with good intention, where they say
I
hell
believe-
is
paved with the road to hell is paved with
good intention.
perdition or something.
But so when I look at
Summer,
that, is
fall.
Road to perdition, road to hell, gold.
it was paved.
Tom Hanks.
We're all going. But so the world we live in is a machine. The West is a machine, and we are cogs in the machine. We are individuals that run the machine. Well, if we start feeling emotionally adverse about our role in the machine that we're running, well, we can't have that. There's a hiccup in that machine. So let's just get you on a couple meds, dude. I got 2 antidepressants because the first one wasn't working. So that's what logic and reason says. Let's just throw another one on top of that bitch. Now we got you on 6 fucking antidepressants and anti-anxiety.
You're a little slow during the day, so we're gonna give you a little Adderall.
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
just 'cause
yeah.
Clearly, you can't.
Oh, you got
focus.
fatigue.
You
Oh, you're a little
can't
fatigued.
focus.
So
Yeah.
I got a perfect thing for you. It's Adderall.
Called a speedball.
Yeah, it's legal. Trust me, it's legit. And let me tell you, I've had my heyday with Adderall as well. But that's what it does.
Same girl.
Is that they want to get it, and by they I mean it's hard to say they because we would insinuate a group of individuals, but it really comes down to that. But the machine needs to operate, and we are the machine. We are the operators of the machine. We can't have you feeling any other way except for, hey, you need to get your shit done that you're doing every single day. Get
Right.
the machine going, and so I don't. I'm a scat man. Skid little bop.
Scat man.
Sorry, I had to scat there for a little bit. Jesus Christ. I don't know how the quote went, but it's who it's by, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's like, it's no measure of wellness. It's no measure to compare yourself to a sick society. And just God forgive me for brutalizing that quote.
That was
but
pretty rough.
It was absolutely brutal.
Well, that's right. I'm here for it.
I'm going to go home. I'm going to look at my notebooks and be like, oh, it's only 6 words. I didn't have to complicate that shit.
I can't wait to get that text later.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah.
On every social media page. It'll be in the Leader Telegram.
The headline.
But yeah, it's
So,
just
it's okay. They have 4 readers.
it's
It's fine.
it's a concerning
Like
thing.
our
And
viewership.
this goes in with the whole psychedelic thing too, is that there are ways to handle our business that nature has given us, but the Western mind, the consumerist mind, has a mission, and whatever tries to impede that mission is to be exiled, or is to be cut out, or to be cast away, and that includes people as well. And Carl Jung, I'm reading a lot of Carl Jung, a Swiss psychologist who's just a brilliant individual, and he talks about that.
Also known as Carl Jung.
No, it's Carl Jung. Carl G. Jung. Okay, also known as Carl G. with a J.
Silent yay.
Young.
Carl Jung.
Young.
He's a very brilliant individual, and what he talks about is, we essentially have to go through an individuation process, and it's great. One of the things he said is, he goes, the individuation process is the exception to the rule. That the rule doesn't apply no longer. It is the exception that applies to the rule. And so he refers to like the mass man as being the rule. Like scientifically and statistically speaking, the mass man is just made up of data that doesn't actually serve the purpose of the individual or individuation process. And that's coming into full understanding of your unconscious or your dark side,
Right.
or what triggers, in my case, my traumas. That for so long my traumas ran the game, and the mushroom experience allowed me to peek behind the veil and understand that.
Well, I think because we all got them,
Every single
Nobody's
person
running
knows.
away from them.
100%.
But it's like that's the. I've been doing a bunch of reading too, and like there's a big difference between responding and reacting to emotions, right? And like those early trauma experiences, I've found for me is what causes me to react to an emotion. And in my brain, like responding positive, reacting negative. Because responding for me is like, that's that higher level. Like I get to observe what's happening to me, and then I can make a calculated decision on how I want to act going forward.
Yep.
Whereas reacting is like, good, I don't know, this happened, good, fuck. So this is just what I do.
Yep.
And again, there's lots of ways to get in touch with that trauma and like understanding why you are the way that you are, and then realizing that however the way that you are is fine.
100%.
It doesn't make you right, wrong, or indifferent. It just makes you who you are.
Makes you you.
The more you know. Unique. Oh, that's good. But I think
Fuck
that
is this meek person you're talking about?
but I
No
think that
relation
it's
to eunuch. That's a different thing.
yeah, I've heard of that one too.
The old one.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
been watching a lot of TV too.
One testicle man.
No, I just
balls
think
to
it's
say that.
I think it's wild.
Ball.
And I think that we try to just hurry up through those processes, and I think that's where, you know, we joked about a midlife crisis earlier, but I think that that's when you get to that part in your journey of life where you're like, whoa, everything happened so fast. Everybody was telling me how to live, that people were going to be giving me drugs. Nobody's been giving me drugs.
Not a single person. Dude.
Lies.
And here we are. We go down this line, and then you're like, well, fuck, hold the phone. Like, is this all the way that it needs to be? And really, it's a perspective shift in your own brain. But if you try to say, well, enough with all that, like, yeah, give me the, you know, SSRI and give me the Adderall, and like, I just want to keep chugging along. Life will slow you down. Like it gives you nature, the world, the universe, whatever, however you want to look at it. Like it gives you everything that you need. And I do believe that mushrooms are a gift. And I believe that in the same as like whole foods are a gift. You know, but we think like, nah, we could do that better. How's that working out for us? Like, oh, well, you know what? Like steak's great, but like, let's make fake burgers. And I like nothing against anybody.
Actually, I have everything against fake burgers. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, because that's not even. There's nothing about like if you don't want to eat that, then don't eat it.
Yeah,
like that's fine. But like, don't wish you could be eating it and then eat something that was made in the lab, and then be like, well, but it's the same. Like I'm no better. Like I still slam too many monsters in a week. But like,
I agree. Me too.
Yeah.
Guilty.
But at the same time, and you're like, oh, man, I don't know, that 0 calories, zero sugar. Man, that tasted just like a Swedish fish.
Sucralose? Shit. Oh, what's that natural flavor in there?
I can't pronounce
Give
it.
me some of that.
So many letters that shouldn't be together.
So I just think that less is more. And if you're ever really, really, really struggling, strip everything down. I don't know if everybody can do exactly what you did, but I was just talking to a buddy of mine who's like, man, I don't know. I go spend, you know, life gets heavy sometimes. I'll go spend 10, 12 days out in elk hunting out in Colorado.
Yep.
He's like, I come back with that's a psychedelic experience for a lot of it. And I believe that like any situation where you can detach from the noise and truly like, and you're not afraid to do a little bit of looking within and just sitting with it.
Yep.
I believe that creates the same emotion or the same experience as a psychedelic.
100. I couldn't.
I
agree
know
more.
even on like I've heard of these trips. You know, I've been on a few, and you know my first one I remember kind of
2025. We're going again.
deal. All right.
El Diablo. We have to.
I'm
Actually, Wayne Bennett keeps popping up on my Facebook.
It's a sign.
friends. And I'm like, Wayne Bennett, how the fuck are you popping up? All right, we'll see you in a couple months.
We're going to the El Diablo. Well, but like I just remember from, I don't know, more time spent meditating, therapy, whatever, when I was a kid, younger, just to try to give me a boost on the trauma that was ensuing. Like, I just remember having this crazy feeling that, like, I've been here before. This connection to self, I've had it. I know it. And so it was it was like I can, you can get there on your own. It's sometimes I think that mushrooms and psychedelic experiences help you blow through the blocks and the barriers that trauma, life, self puts up between like who you are and what you're doing.
There are 1,000 paths to the goal you're trying to get to. Each path is not wrong, but each path is not the path.
Right.
For everyone.
Yep.
So that's why we should have that freedom to pick and to choose that. For me, even now, like I don't sit with the mushrooms except until I'm called to them now. And like I'll be called to them and I'll cultivate and then I'll have an experience. But that's the only time that I do. I do like to microdose, which is a wonderful thing. Just helps me re-gauge my neural connections and the clarity throughout my days and my weeks. But yeah, I won't sit through a psychedelic experience anymore, just for the fact that I don't need it. I have everything that I need.
Yep.
But there are times, though, after extended periods of time where the mushrooms will call to you. And when they call to you, you must pick it up. You have to pick it up. And you just sit with them and you go through that experience. It's almost kind of like it's like a annual or biannual or a quad centennial meeting where it's like, I don't even know. Yeah.
But that actually
25 years ago, I had a bunch of mushrooms.
Yeah. Let's go chop some trees.
But then it's just like a check-in. It's a check-in with yourself. You get to see where you're at, where you're at with your lessons, where you're at in your psychological.
It's a report card.
It's essentially what it is.
Right.
From yourself to yourself.
Yep.
Which is the scariest shit about it.
Oh,
that
yeah.
nobody else is conducting this but you.
Right. Yeah. So whatever you bring to the table, you got to deal with it. Put that weapons belt on,
and you can't
go on
run
into that cave.
away. You cannot run away from who you are. I've tried. Trust me, I've tried.
You look at a lot of the struggles, and you mentioned the word, the machine, the machine of pharmaceuticals.
La Mahina.
La Machina. That's Spanish.
It's not machina? Bitch, I've been saying this wrong the whole
it's a
time,
lot.
girl.
Carl Jung.
La Machina.
But I mean, the pharmaceutical machine, I think it's bigger than that. I think, and maybe this is generational. Maybe this is something that like TQ maybe wasn't raised in this world where there is a box that we're all supposed to fit into. There's a path that we're all supposed to take. There's a goal that you're supposed to go through high school, and you're supposed to play 1.5 sports, and then you're supposed to go to college for 2.5 to 4.5 years. Then you're supposed to get married. You're supposed to have 2.5 kids. You're supposed to have the house.
Yeah.
There's this trajectory that has been sold to us and sold to generations before us, just in different contexts, and it's probably being sold to the next generation in a different way. You're supposed to do all of these things, and if you don't do those things, if you're not in college by age 18 and a half or 19, if you're not married by 22 and a half, if you don't have your kids before you're 30, if you don't do all these things, something's fucking wrong with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in order to kind of keep you on the path, and this is the big farm machine and the machine of like, here's how we keep everybody
In line.
Is if you get out of that path, you're like, oh, I'm sad because I was told I needed to be this by the time I was this, and here I am.
Yeah, the
and I
masked
am
man.
like, this will help you, and this is getting you back on the path. Is maybe you did get married, and maybe you're fucking miserable, or maybe you did have 2 kids, and you're like, man, this now I can't do this other thing that I want.
Can't give them back.
It's too late to abort them.
They just don't fit back in.
They're 7.
They don't like teenage abortions, I guess.
Apparently not.
They call it murder.
You mean you can't put them back in the oven? Like, is this gonna fit? No, it's not. Don't try that. But so the corral they try to keep you in, the box or the corral they try to keep you in is just like, okay, well, it's fine. Like, you know what? Just if you move off the path, we'll just find a way to get you back on there. Or at least make you feel like I can tolerate the misery that I'm in.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
tolerate
Agreed.
that I really wanted to be this, but that didn't work out because it didn't check one of the boxes I was supposed to fit. That's a lot of pressure on people. Yeah. I don't know, maybe there's less in this generation where you kind of feel like I can kind of go. There's no pressure for like TQ to be married by the time you're 22, and there's no pressure for you to like, I mean, you figured your career out.
How old are you?
Congratulations, you're a part of Legends
I'm
Marketing
23.
for your life.
I'm 23.
Holy shit.
I think there's more of an open box now, but I think
Right.
there definitely is still some of that structure, like hard coded into people even my age.
And that shit gets passed down from like parents and grandparents and things like that, where you're, hey, why aren't you this yet? oh, hey, when are you going to do this? Or why are you trying to start a bit? Are you
I got it. No, I've been doing yoga. Somebody needs some.
I said, are you cold?
I need my nicotine pouch.
Oh, okay. I thought you
I need to get full mental clarity.
I get that. So everybody tries to, society tries to keep you in this formation of going and doing things. That's why it's tough to be a business owner, because that's like, well, you want to be your own boss? Like, why don't you just go work for somebody else?
Just
shut the fuck up, go to work, get a paycheck. Just that's what every other working American is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And knowing that you're probably not going to be the next Rockefeller or the next Goodyear or the next anything else, there's like, well, let's put you back in the path. And even,
didn't say Trump.
I didn't. Well, he started off, you see, it was good. And then it got great. Dance. But even as a small business, I mean, this kind of ties it all in there. You want to start a small business. Let's see how we can make this as fucking difficult as we can for you.
Right.
You're like, you want me to pay what? Like, I don't make, how are you asking me to pay more out than I'm pulling in? Well, this is the struggles you have to go through.
It's just 792% tax on your first.
It's
child's
it's
life.
going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But
Am I gonna get
all
that
of these
back?
things like keep you in the box and unable to go off into those 1,000 different paths that take you in the direction you want to go, because it's like, oh shit, well, if I do this, and we have a big complex with what other people think about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, as much as we're like, nah, I don't give a fuck.
I don't
what anybody
care.
thinks, you're also
You
like,
care.
It's also like its own social control mechanism.
Yeah.
That's what like the mass is, if you follow the flock, so to speak. We'll yeah, that's right. Guy had to get tough on that.
Right,
bitch.
Tyson.
So like I would always consider myself, I was the black sheep of my family. And I would, if I were to wear a label, which I will not, but if I were to, I would wear that one proudly.
Yeah.
Because I separated myself from where even my family is gone, and I was able, as Carl Jung says, the individuation process. As Carl Jung said, the
Can we
fucking
get a
individuation process.
pronunciation on that?
It is Carl Gustave Jung. I am 100%.
Gustave.
I'm 99.82.
Yeah, let me crunch some numbers real quick for you guys.
You know what? It's not about perfection. It's okay if you're wrong.
Trust me,
We will not hold it
I'm
against
I'm pretty
so
sure he's wrong.
imperfect that I tip the scales to perfection the other way.
the full swing.
Yeah.
Just come full
Erection.
He's the handicap for perfection.
Circle. What are you basing those numbers on?
The whole reason why the ADA was created. I agree with 100% of everything you said, Coop. I do agree, and that goes to say too is I think that's what it's all about conformity, and that's what these organizations or the machine is. It's a conformist system, and what that is for the human psyche at some point in time in this life or the next is it will call for the individuation process, which is a process to understand the individual or to understand self, to what we really are, not Keaton Lyons, not Phil Norville, not Coop the motherfucking man.
It's hyphenated.
It's dude, not even hyphenated. That's one word. That's one fucking word. A man's
It's like
brilliant.
a hashtag.
But that's not who we are. That's the mask we put on every day.
Right.
Who are we underneath it all? And that's what that machine, it takes away from that process.
Yeah, it doesn't allow you to be okay with just who you are,
Or
without therapy and questioning and support and like honest
Well, even like,
friends.
but then even like therapeutic things, not necessarily the therapeutic things that you're talking about, but it's a way to it's a way to keep you back on like, oh, I'm feeling this way. Let's talk about it. Well, now you know how you feel the way, but let's get you back to being this way. Let's put you back in a position where you're, able to operate this way. You're like, well, I don't really operate that way. Well,
But maybe
if you
you
talk
should.
about it more, you can operate in that.
You know what goes good with that Zoloft is a nice Mountain Dew and a couple of Twinkie rolls.
right? Yeah. Oh.
That sounds like a Friday night fight night dinner right there.
Did you figure that out?
Yeah, so it's going to be pronounced Carl Jung.
Oh,
Look, I am the smartest dumbass I know. So I'm just
You know what?
I shouldn't have questioned you. Sorry, Dad.
I mean, I'll believe you either way.
I've been reading Jung's work for years now, and I feel like I've just cracked the eggshell of what his work is. It's brilliant.
Are you going to start writing books?
Let me just start pulling my ass up out of bed at 6 a.m. first, and then we can talk about it.
Well, you can go to bed late and write.
You can write whenever you
I know.
want.
Well,
man.
actually, most like really good authors and writers and poets are the ones
Fucked up.
that exactly,
Yeah.
and they're the ones who they don't start writing until midnight, until like 4 or 5 a.m. till the wee hours, and that's their best time. Is in that darkness, the womb of the night, and
That's
so I
what
need
Jim
to quit.
Morrison did.
I'm just trying to conform.
How's
I'm
he
trying
doing?
to conform to the
Still
world's 40-hour work week, and I'm
Don't
not,
do that.
I'm not that.
You don't have to do that.
Again, that's another one of those things. Here's the box. Thanks with Henry Ford, wasn't it? It was like
Or was
40-hour work week.
Or was that JT?
It was definitely James.
It was definitely Justin.
Justin
Oh,
Timberlake.
Justin
Yeah,
Timberlake,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
okay, not our JT.
No,
fucking-
what was
No,
his quote
it's,
about
it's
the
not
box?
Justin. It's Houston.
it's something in a box.
We already established
It was,
J-U's are U's. Houston Timberlake.
Harry Penis in the box.
Harry
Whatever.
Penis. Yeah. Can you check that out for me? Look out Harry Penis mushroom. It's
I just want to see what
I believe
happens
it is
to your-
Harry as in Hairy, and penis I believe is like
P-A-E-N-I-S.
It's like how
P-A-N-E-O-U-S.
it's like a 4-year-old trying to look it up. On the
Well, who
internet.
the fuck named
What are you
that
trying to
mushroom?
look
I
up?
want to know. I want that dude's job.
Maybe that was his name.
Like all this mycological work I'm doing
All you gotta do is find one.
is all that it is for me to be able to name mushrooms whatever I want to name them. Oh, this one right here. If you look right
All right, so
What do you
this is
think
a fair
Harry
question.
Penis.
So you get, like tomorrow, you stumble across a mushroom nobody's named.
there are so many that are
Yeah, what are you going to call it?
undiagnosed.
yeah, what's the process?
What are you going
if
to call it? What's the
discover
first one going to be called?
Well, first I'm going to pull up a picture of you. I'm going to study that mustache. The 6 wrinkles when you smile. No, I don't even know. That's it? I don't.
Wow.
That definitely looks like a
have to-
hairy penis.
I have to screen.
Who
screenshot
named
that.
the hairy penis?
I don't know, but I know the scientific name is the Penis lacometae.
Ooh,
I will do some
Lacometae.
research
Penis
real quickly, though.
lacometae.
Let me get back to you guys.
Which
Feel-
means that
if you're single, feel free to use it as a pickup line.
It
for
la-
bar tonight.
it
Would you
lacks-
like to see my penis?
it lacks hair is what it means. There's interesting names for all these mushrooms. I mean, it'd be ideal. The whole weird thing about this is, maybe this is like the weird psychological battle that I have is I become birthing into the entrepreneurial state. Is that I don't want to become anything, which is it's a weird thing. It's like I don't want to become anything. I just want to do
Things that bring you.
that not only that bring me joy, but that the
I wasn't gonna
world
say
can
joy.
benefit. That what?
Nothing.
No joy.
No, you say that to my face, boy.
Oh, man.
You
this is
fucking
great.
wait 6 hours from now.
I
boy.
know.
I'm gonna rub my ball sack across your face. I won't even wear spats tonight because you're getting a testicle along that lip.
Ah.
Wow, our ratings just went through the roof. We are now the
So
OnlyFans,
if you did-
mechanic guys with a Z.
You look like your OnlyFans is free.
So you guys heard that we do jiu-jitsu, but
Yeah,
also we're training partners. We
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
we don't really, if we're both in the same class, unless we're mad at each other, we don't pick other partners.
Yeah.
You guys get mad
I
at
wanted
each
to
other.
talk.
Is
I
there
wanted
any-
to talk to you about that.
there
a couple
any-
weeks
We
ago.
don't even get mad at each other. It's weird.
Yeah, then
like,
why did you
Well,
partner with Darren?
Because I wanted.
I don't wanna hear
no,
about it.
No, you want to hear it? No, I'll give you why. Because I already know you're going to ask this motherfucker, and I'm glad you asked it now for the
Yeah,
world
please
to see.
bring it.
Is I needed Darren to stand in his own voice and his own boundaries as a young budding man and a young father. So I needed him to be able to deliver the answer to you instead of me doing it for him, because then I would be taking his power away. Sounded pretty good, right?
So I tapped him like 6 times
That's
in
awesome.
about 45
That's awesome.
seconds.
No, yeah, we are. We're training partners. It's the way we've operated
Darren, I love you.
since we've been there. Darren, I love you too. It's been the way we've operated though, and like when we've competed multiple competitions together, and there, I mean, look, when you want to talk about an ideal training partner, you have to look at someone with the same drive, the same vigor, the same discipline, the same desire to want to get better, the same of any of those type of characteristics, and that's what it is for you. I mean, we're physically the same. I mean, you and I. One day you'll be like 2 pounds heavier or lighter than I am, and the other day I will be.
Well, this is the first time in our journey that we are like the same
neck
weight.
and neck. Yeah, it is. Usually
So-
I'm a little bit heavier. And,
Yeah.
And,
So we weren't in the same
Well, he's cut all that facial hair off, so he's down.
it is,
competition
yeah.
division, right?
Yeah.
And now we are.
That's the ideal dream, in my opinion. Is not only that, but we're also the same ages too.
Right.
So for our division, our master division, the old man division, we're able to
Not the oldest man, but
No, I mean
Pretty
Getting
old.
on the upper end of Master 2, though, dude. It's kind of weird.
Is that what they call the elders? Is the master?
The master.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like they have
I like how
master.
they do that.
wa-
It's very gentle.
And
It's
that's what I thought, right?
it's not the
Yo,
old
master.
dudes. It's like the masters, like
The
you fucking
decrepits.
Right? Yeah, yeah. But I think it's like Masters 1 through Masters 7.
Yeah, I mean, she gets up there.
Oh yeah,
She
I
gets
know.
up there. And the Master 7 black belts would destroy me also,
100%.
just to say that.
Yep. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, so no, it's a good thing is to have somebody and that
On
regard
par.
to
Right.
drive you. I mean, even in this whole business thing,
Yeah.
like when I look at you guys, I look at Coop and I look at you. You guys are giants to me in this regard. You know what I mean? I'm just standing at the foot of what you two are, and I could see that as being fearful. I could look at the mountains before me and say, "How am I ever going to climb this mountain?" Or I can reach my hand out, and the mountain is actually reaching its hand out to me and saying, "Let me show you the way." It's a loose rock, yeah.
Careful.
It's a pebble.
I'm on this rock and I'm wearing Chucks. It's very, very slippery.
Don't grab it. Don't grab
Shit,
it.
he just fell down. All right, don't step there.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
That's what you get from people that are doing it. Like we're just a little bit more bruised and
No,
battered.
or you put your hand. Like, you can use this as a stepping stone. I'll lift your foot up above me.
Good sir. Good sir.
I'm just spiraling down right now, so I can spiral back up.
That's
and
right.
ascend.
This is a growth thing.
Yeah,
It's
just
growth.
going
Just growing.
in this dirt.
Man.
Man.
So,
Tyson fight tonight.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
not to get
Yes.
off topic,
You should tag
but
that.
so this will come out after the fight's over. So just,
Yeah.
so you know, so this could be like prediction or hopes and predictions.
well, let's do it right now.
I'm gonna predict what I want to,
Well, that's how the manifesting.
and that manifesting.
Hey.
I want Mike Tyson to knock that motherfucker's ass out. I'm sorry, I do, and maybe that's just the old man of me speaking. Like, you know, one for the old men, even though I'm not as old
For
as
the
him.
Masters.
Dude, I've been
For
watching
the
that
Masters.
motherfucker train.
But that dude, I want to see him just embody the terror that he was for so long.
Yeah.
I want to see darkness just take over. But I will tell you, as much as Jake Paul is an interesting individual, and even if you look at like what he was when he was like 12, he looked like a bitch little boy compared to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson at 12 was a grown ass man biting people's
Right,
like
like,
30.
like
Yeah.
prepping him for prison.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
I mean, the dude. Yeah, it's exactly what it was. It was prison preparation. That's the best boxing training camp you can have is prison preparation course 2.0. But I will give Jake Paul respect. Is the kid is talented.
He's worked hard. He promotes well.
Yeah, he's very talented.
he can get
He's
a hell of
very
a following.
driven.
Drinks a lot of Prime.
That dude is
Convenient.
just juiced to the gills on Prime right now.
Syringes full of Prime.
Just yeah, get that P rhyme. Ooh,
Go hard.
But I do. I mean, regardless of any of Jake Paul's positive attributes of the man he is and becoming,
Right.
fuck him. I want to see Mike Tyson.
I do.
destroy.
I want Mike Tyson's
Fuck him.
eyes. I want him to be like, "This is fun."
Yeah.
And then I want his eyes to
how-
roll back into his head, and then I just want him to come back as Iron
I'm
Mike.
68.
You dead.
58. However old he is.
Right.
58.
Yeah. I just want him to knock Jake Paul back into.
And it's you really just
Diapers.
hope. You hope it's a fight. You hope
Yeah.
it's not like everybody's kind of got this feet. Like, yeah, everybody wants, not everybody, because I'm sure there is a large contingent of people who are, don't know who the fuck Mike Tyson was, don't know what he did for the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
You
But-
know who Mike Tyson is, right?
Yeah, I don't know anyone
Was
who
he the
wouldn't
guy
know
in The
Mike
Hangover?
Tyson.
I mean, he is the man.
Yeah, he's the face of boxing.
Like
Yeah,
even
and
like,
that's generational.
because even like Muhammad Ali, who is, Muhammad Ali is.
I
right?
do.
Yeah. Just had to
Mike
check with
Tyson.
Freak.
you. But at the same time, like Mike Tyson has been on top longer than any other boxer.
He's a modern. He's our boxer from our time.
Yeah, but
He's what we grew
but
up
that
with.
crosses lines now. It's not just our time.
Well,
Generational
somebody who's so
boxing.
great, and the age he was, the whole up and coming career that he had. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
like late 50s, 60-year-olds are like, "Oh, Mike Tyson was the boxer of my time."
and anybody who gets a tattoo on the side of his face who owns 6 tigers and talks like Biff, you want to see him succeed.
You really
succeed.
Entrepreneur in me is like that motherfucker.
Like, I'd
Had
still love to see the Tiger
overcome
King with 6 specials right now.
a lot of
He
obstacles.
got put away.
But you hope that it's not a marketing ploy. I mean, marketing, but
Right.
for Jake Paul, because the YouTube empire, and I'm sure there's a lot of YouTubers who are following him and are encouraging him to be victorious because they're like, this guy, look what he can do. But there's also like, do you remember boxing was kind of like, it was a sport, but maybe this is that generational thing. But when Mike Tyson was like the guy that made it fucking Saturday night, Vegas, Don King, fucking lights, camera, action, the whole thing, millions and millions of dollars on these, and everybody was glued to it. It doesn't matter where you were from, your background, you're like, I don't give a fuck about boxing, but I need to watch this fight because Iron Mike's about to go in. And most of those fights didn't last very long. Yeah. You weren't paying. It's not like, oh man, I hope this goes 3 rounds. You're like, I hope this motherfucker comes out. I paid $18.99 for this on pay-per-view. It comes out and it's over in a fucking second. Yeah. Because you wanted to see that murderer out there.
Murder. Dude, that's all I want to see.
I didn't pay for 12 rounds.
Because I think you're right.
I have shit to do after this is done. And it starts at 8:30.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think that like part of me, when this got announced, I don't know, it was almost a year ago now.
Yeah, because it was supposed to happen like back in July.
Yeah.
On my birthday, July 20th.
And then Mike was like, I'm almost going to die.
He's
But
like, I'm 58 and
I
I just have 58-year-old problems.
Right.
Training for a fight.
Sorry.
Yeah. But when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is like Jake Paul, awesome marketer, awesome promoter. I was like, part of me felt sad because I was like, he convinced Tyson for a marketing spoof.
Right. And there was a weird wave there too, where there was a bunch of older boxers that were coming out and doing like the sparring matches and like Roy Jones Jr. I was like,
and then why was it Tyson? And it's kind of weird. But then in the back of my mind, I was just really hopeful that he was like, yeah, I'll take it. Sure. Right. Yeah, I'll play your game. Sure. And then he'll get in the ring and he'll just be like, fuck no.
I agree. I do think that there was the marketing ploy aspect. I do, because I mean, everyone is going to make money out of this one, and Tyson especially. But I will tell you is I don't know how a man like Mike Tyson could just do something half speed,
because it challenges his integrity.
The dude is going to go full speed. There's no fucking way Mike Tyson's going to go, oh no, I'm just.
And I think he's been hit a few times.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So like, I
don't
feel
remember
like
you telling me we were going half speed. I forgot. I got the brain thing. Got the CTE.
Oh man, I'm excited.
It'll be a fun watch. It'll be
interesting. It'll be.
Where are we watching it?
That's a good question.
We'll have to figure that out.
After you drag your balls across his mouth, they're gonna have to find something to do.
I know I'm a little injured right now. I'm just gonna say that now. I'm gonna preface my defeat right here.
I got a pretty fucked up knee too.
Do you really? Oh, that's right. Didn't you?
With Greg. When Greg fucking launched me over.
Dude, do you know that Ian tore his labrum?
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, his pussy hurts.
I knew it.
I know it.
But that was a labia.
Oh, yeah.
That one,
too. His shoulder. No.
Oh, yeah.
That labia.
So it's pretty fucked up. So he's out.
He's out for 8 weeks. He has a partial tear, not a full tear. So if he does rehab and he stays honest to that, he'll be back in 8 weeks. I talked to him last night.
This was Wednesday night at class. We did a comp class, and a guy that hadn't been here in a long time.
Yeah, very talented, young
super
kid.
Talented. Jacked as fuck.
Dude,
He looks
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, folks, for of y'all who can't see this man.
He looks like the Hulk.
He's a specimen.
Yeah.
He is a fucking specimen.
He is a unit.
He's like, and I just lost 60 pounds because of my neck injury. And then how do you magically gain 60 pounds and look like a Greek god?
Right.
Like, just,
yeah.
What
You're just walking across the mat. Like, I don't know.
His abs had abs on them.
Yeah. It was abs on abs.
Hey, baby, abs. Oh, you got abs. Got abs.
It was intense.
Yo, dog. I heard you liked
he
abs.
heard
Still got your abs, some abs.
So the thing is he was with Darren. He was with Darren, Ed. And Ed is the one who picked him up and double-legged him and dropped him on his... Ed destroyed everybody. He destroyed Ian, Greg, and Darren that night. And I sat and watched that.
I think he got me a couple times, too.
I was like, holy shit, this is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I was glad I didn't participate on Wednesday, except for just visually.
Well, you remember when Greg did that double leg and put me on his shoulder?
Yep.
And when I went down to sprawl, my feet did not hit first, but I just slammed on my knee. And so my knee is definitely looks like a grapefruit.
It's swollen then.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys can wrap up early and get on home and watch that Tyson fight.
Do you want to use a knee brace on my knee right now?
Well, do you have an extra one?
I actually do.
Bring it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it.
Yeah. Well, good. Now I don't feel so bad. I will roll tonight on my injured back, and then I'll just suffer the consequences tomorrow because hey,
because tomorrow at 9 we're gonna train.
We're gonna further our injuries.
That's right. Let's do that.
I like it.
I got a comp in a couple. 3
That's
weeks,
right.
4 weeks?
Oh yeah, December 7th,
where's that?
right?
Where-
And
what's
you're doing
happening?
what? You're doing a
Minnesota,
Fuji
right?
tournament
Yep.
competition.
What's that?
You're doing a Fuji tournament
Yep.
competition.
Fuji. Yep.
Nice.
So our friends over at Fuji Mats.
Fuji Mets?
Yep.
So that's, I think it's like the Minnesota Open. So I'll be doing that December 7th.
That's it.
195.
That's beautiful. I'll be there. I'll be there to support for sure. I will.
Is that
not
why
be
you
there to
shaved the
train.
beard? Were you trying? You
dude. I'm down to 190. I'm 197 right now. So I just need to lose a few more. But that's why I'm drinking bourbon.
Not beers. I get
It's
it.
the
It
best
makes
way.
a lot of sense.
By the way, you look phenomenal. You look the best that you've looked since we've started training together. So
Working on it.
what you came out of this injury and what an
Did I mention? I
inspiration.
started this with 2024 was stressful, right?
Yeah.
And stress is a hell of a weight loss drug. If anybody wants to lose weight,
Dude,
just get stressed.
just go through a midlife crisis, question your marital affairs and how you are as a father, and I guaranteed you will be 20 pounds lighter next month.
Cortisol is my favorite drug.
Yep. Yeah. Can I get that in 2-pill form?
Extra
strength
anything
cortisol?
working. I know why.
Oh, man.
No, that's good. I love that. And this will be your second blue belt competition, right? Because your first one was in Master Worlds.
Is that
And it
pre-injury?
was
Pre-back injury?
It was pre-back injury, but I had a
But you had
massive ankle
yep,
swelling.
your ankle was the
I fucked it
size of a volleyball.
Yeah.
You had both ankles taped to look like Rumpelstiltskin or Pinocchio on your little wood legs.
So nobody would know which ankle was
And
fucked
you
up.
still made it 4th round in, dude.
That's right.
Which was absolutely incredible. And I still haven't even hit a blue belt competition yet. So, but that's what I'm here. I'm a cheerleader in this.
Well, this has been a rough year because January,
Yeah.
I was out. And then when I was out with my back, you've been struggling with your knee.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't. I struggled with my knee. What I figured a year prior to my surgery, which was in September.
Yep.
But no, you were like your back took you out for a solid 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm really
I've only-
surprised. All the remedies that we tried down in the Keys didn't work.
I know, dude.
Because usually,
But
when,
you know what?
when something hurts, I go to Kiki's Tiki, and I have about 4 or 5 oyster shots, and I'm like, "Pff,
If you remember,
shit's
though,
fixed.
after going to Kiki's Tiki and having
walked
4
home.
oyster shots, I went for a run, and there's a video of me screaming, "Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?" So I think actually what happened in Key West was what I needed for an extended period of time to pull
need a
me through.
little break. And you may have had like 4 or 5 people walking over on your back. You're like, I don't know, maybe just walk on it. I'm like, oh, seems like a good
How
idea.
was Panama? How was your Panama trip?
Oh my God,
I could tell you how it was from my perspective, but
it was pretty great. The Panamanian painkiller.
yeah, they all we have. I'm telling you, as I said earlier, we're not here to discover anything. We're just here to rediscover things,
right.
and we rediscovered the Panamanian painkiller.
It worked.
What was the Panamanian painkiller?
Well, depending on the day, but it had to do with ibuprofen,
It's subjective.
edibles, and tequila, rum, pina coladas.
Generally speaking, yeah, it was
Yeah.
the
Ibu-
liquor.
So not
ibuprofen.
the Kiki's painkiller, because I think we started with oyster shots, and then it went to, what are these painkillers you guys are drinking? And they were like,
yeah, that's right.
You're like, I'm going to go for a run. I'm like, I can't.
I don't have feet. Yeah.
I ain't got no legs. Those are my
Lieutenant
sea
Dan.
legs.
Ain't got no
But you
legs.
ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
But I love you just the same, without legs.
Oh man. Well, I feel like I don't know how long we've been chatting, anyways.
We're at about an hour and a half.
Man, feels
Holy
like
shit,
15 seconds.
I feel like we just got started.
We haven't even talked about the big thing that happened a couple weeks ago. We were in Vegas.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You see how I just breezed over that? I don't want our
love
podcast to
Vegas.
get banned and have to be like our buddy Dr. J, who now had to move to Rumble.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
You
right.
see that? They pulled his podcast off of YouTube.
I knew they were talking about it, but they did.
Dr. Jay LaGuardia, Triple P Nation. I think
Triple
we're both
P.
wearing the Empowering Dreams.
The
Triple
Triple
P
P
Life.
Life.
He got pulled off of YouTube.
Yeah, they pulled one of his, I think his most recent podcast off of YouTube. They did say if he went through, he texted me the other night and he was like, because the night before he's like, oh, my podcast is going up. And he talked about, we went to a summit of his a couple of days. Not the day. 6 hours after we got back from fucking Vegas, we went to his big
Leadership
2-day
summit. Yeah.
And he had texted me, he talked about it at the convention. He was like, hey, my podcast is going to go up with this certain doctor who did a documentary. And then he texted me, it's up. And then he texted me again. He's like, they pulled it. Unless I take YouTube apparently has a class you can take.
Like remedial training.
Like,
It's a pretty big class. It's
know.
not the biggest
If you
class,
wanted to
but
be
it's
informed.
a pretty good class.
But it's great. It's actually
pretty great.
Yep.
it's actually huge. Everybody loves it. It's the best
it's
class.
huge.
It's the
there
best
is.
class that could ever be
Never
class.
had a better class. But there is they will train
Everyone
you
loved it. Everyone loved it.
on the things that factual and unfactual information that you can talk about on their platform. They will
This-
send you through a training program.
Wow, this sounds reminiscent of what Jordan B. Peterson had to go through
Yeah.
in Canada, or
I
what
remember
Canada's government wanted him to go through.
Easy. We're not trying to get on the Rumble here.
No, you're right. You're right. Well, we're not going to.
Why
'cause
do you
we
think
have-
I
we have
avoided the
respect
whole-
for YouTube and its
And freedom of
constituents,
speech.
But yeah, no, it's a weird time. It's a weird time to be alive. But we get to actually watch worldwide.
Panic.
Censorship.
It's where I'm at. I was trying to be nice in this. We're actually watching worldwide reactions to what
Domination.
it is to be censored
NWO.
in real time, and it's a scary thing. It really is. I think, like many intellectuals, and I'm not putting myself up in the category of intellectual, but that the best way
You just
to
did that.
a problem or a
By not doing
solution
that.
is being intellectual. No, the best way to do a problem or a solution is to actually have a dialogue about it.
Absolutely.
Have a conversation.
Yes, and if we can't have the conversation, then it just shows us that it's almost like the solution's already predestined or.
But you see what YouTube is doing though, is they're going to have a conversation with you. You don't get to talk, but they're going to tell you exactly what it is that you
The
can and
dialogue.
cannot say.
They're gonna
It's very
Beep
Yeah.
boop bop beep boop. Algorithm
be the robot.
speaking. Yeah.
let me give you this
R2D2.
pill so you can listen to us better.
Also, speaking of listening to us, thank you for listening to us for the last hour.
Yeah,
and a half.
you guys,
stuff.
thanks for having me. I
Absolutely,
didn't know
Keaton.
what we were going to even do, but I just figured we'd just go off the cuff, just talk about
Seems
some
right.
things and
It's
yeah.
basically the premise of this podcast. There's really no.
between the two pillars of our waking lives, you know.
Whoa.
Wow.
Hey,
that's a standard
that's
I'm
hefty.
not sure I
Do
can
you want
live
me
up
to
to.
deconstruct a symbolistic viewpoint of the way that your podcast is?
The way we were.
Is it-
y'all received my message.
We gotta get out of
we gotta
here.
go. Keaton Lyons. Make sure you look for his fantastic mushroom products coming soon.
Autumn
to a
Rose
Captain
Fungi.
Keats.
Autumn Rose Fungi
Autumn Rose.
is the name that I will be my moniker.
Your moniker.
No, it'll be
Not a monocle.
It's our business, Autumn Rose Fungi, and there's we look forward to the future and working with you guys. And,
Google it.
And don't Google it yet because you won't find shit.
All right. We'll get
Duck,
you there.
duck, go it. How about that? Since we're talking about it. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe and do all the things. Share with your friends.
Good luck tonight, Mike.
All right, Mike.
I'm Mike.
Bagging them. Request me on Facebook, no, I ain't adding them. Positions I had her in. Hit from the back, that pussy was splattering. Calling her friend, tell her pull up. Word, let's make it a gathering. They
I
loving
said,
that
baby,
swagger.
nah, I'm Matic now, but she loving the splash again. I just be cashing in her buns, just like a wedding, I'm crashing in. Hundreds on hundreds, I'm moving and grooving. She wanna cut up, I'ma slash again. Buckets on buckets, I'm switching and dishing. Back in my bag, going back again. Oh,